Welcome back, everybody. It's Untitled Go, and today we have some exciting news from Wizards. They just posted this like 2 hours ago, getting ready for Historic Anthology 4. I'm just now seeing this for the first time myself, so we're going to go over this together, and yeah, let's just dive right in. Are you a fan of MTG Arena? Yes. Are you feeling slightly jealous over Time Spiral Remastered? Not particularly, but we do like Arena, so we're going to pack our bags and blah, 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 blah. Historic Anthology 4 adds 25 new cards to Arena, and if you purchase it for 4,000 gems or 2,500 gold, you get a playset of all of the cards. Beginning March 11th, so just 6 days away, we get to purchase these. Legality, they will be legal to play in Historic upon release. Let's see what we get. Ooh, Thraben Inspector. This is great. A 1 mana 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, investigate. So this creates a clue token. For those of you who are not familiar, it's the same concept as like a shard token. You sacrifice it by paying 2 and you draw a card. This was really good back in its day, and it's going to be just as good. Declaration in Stone. 2 mana sorcery, exile target creature and all other creatures its controller controls with the same name as that creature. That player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way. Investigate is the same thing, just makes the tokens. Triumphant Reckoning. 9 mana sorcery, return all artifact, enchantment, and planeswalker cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. You guys best believe I'm playing this. This has insane combo potential, and if at the very least it just buys back everything you would want, like your Paradox engines, your Mystic Forges, your Forsaken Monuments, your Ugins. Yeah, this card is nuts. Graveyard Shenanigans for those who are up to no good. Oh, I love this. Adorned Pouncer, 2 mana 1/1 with double strike, and you can eternalize it for 5. That's not. I mean, it's a good creature, don't get me wrong, but I'm not really super excited about that. Spider spawning, though, this card is gas. This card is particularly good in Undergrowth because it's literally Undergrowth without it being written on the card. It checks for each creature in your graveyard, so if you're playing an Undergrowth strategy, this will fit in pretty nice. And think twice, this is probably going to replace every 2 mana draw spell in Historic, I think. Behold the Multiverse is always great, and like, think twice isn't bad. Or I mean, not think twice. Frantic Inventory is not bad, but think twice is just nice. Being able to draw a card for 2, flash it back for 3. This card it's sweet. Who's feeling down for some Historic and chill? We have Iceberg Cancrix. This is a 2 mana 0/4. So we actually get to we're building crabs again. I know we just played Crab Core, but we are playing some Crab Core again. Day one. This is amazing. Merit Lige's Slumber, a 2 mana legendary snow enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, when this or another snow permanent enters the battlefield, you control scry 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more snow permanents, sacrifice it. If you do, create Merit Lige, which is a 2020 legendary black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible. Jeez. Okay. Okay. So they just basically made the snow decks like OP as hell. This is gonna break Historic like for a minute at least. Like day one, you're probably gonna see a lot of these two right away. So just be mindful. Mill's gonna be on the uprising. Shining Swords and Shouting Goblins like peanut butter and chocolate. Bone Splitter, it's not bad. It's classic. I'm sure it fits in some places. Goblin Graveler though, 1 mana 1/1 with trample, gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it. This card is perfect, and it's also a warrior, so you can already imagine this goes perfect in those decks. Bone Splitter might fit in those in the like the Boros equipment, like the Boros warrior equipment deck or something. Sword of Body and Mind is also a very nice card. It's 3 mana. I wish they printed all the swords. I guess green blue protection from green and blue seems pretty relevant considering like Nissa still exists, Hydroid Krasis is still a thing. There's just a lot of really good green and blue cards, but 3 mana artifact, equip 2, equipped a creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from green and from blue. When equipped a creature deals combat damage to a player, you create a 2/2 green wolf creature token, and then that player mills 10 cards. I'm probably going to throw this in a Bruvok mill deck as well, because this is awesome. Ask yourself, does this card spark joy? If not, these discard enablers can help. Faith of the Devoted, a 3 mana enchantment. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Not too bad. Flameblade Adept, 1 mana 1/2 menace. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, Flameblade Adept gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Oh, God. So This plus like Arclight Phoenix and like an Arclight Phoenix deck could be very good considering you're discarding a ton. This is a very aggressive creature. Do not overlook this card. Torment of Scarabs, a 4 mana enchantment curse. Enchant player. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. Sick. So you can play this with Turgid's Lantern and just Turgid in general. And this synergizes very well, does the same thing. So just redundancy in that deck probably matters a ton. Make some time to brush up on your good elf, bad elf routine. Abomination of Llanowar is a 3 mana legendary elf warrior with vigilance and menace. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of elves you control plus the number of elves in your graveyard. Good thing it doesn't have trample, but this is still gonna be maybe played. I'm not even sure. Like, it might be played as like a 1 or 2 of. I don't think they even need it. If it had trample, it would be a 4 of, no doubt. Listalana Huntmaster is a 4 mana 3/3. Then whenever you cast an elf spell, you may create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. So this is going to be nice to go wide in elf strategies if you want to. I don't think this necessarily is needed. The elf deck is already really strong. I'm not sure they want to take their turn 4 off to just play this when they can be playing like Beast Whisperer or even a questing beast, even though that's not an elf. But you get the idea. New artifacts. Don't worry, we already know some of you are upset we didn't list Cold Steel Heart with the other snow cards. So it does exist though. Blinkmoth Nexus. Taps for a colorless, becomes a 1/1 artifact creature with flying until end of turn for 1 mana, and you can pay 1 and tap it. Target Blinkmoth creature gets +1/+1. Super good. It's not Inkmoth Nexus, which if it was, I'd be a lot more excited. Cold Steel Heart, 2 mana, snow artifact, enters the battlefield tapped. As it enters the battlefield, choose a color, and it taps for that color. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. 3 mana, Inspiring Statuary. Non-artifact spells you cast have Improvise. This is good. I didn't like this card when it was first printed because you want artifacts to improvise. You're not playing a ton of non-artifact spells, so it just kind of clashes with the theme of the mechanic itself. But it's not a bad card for like Brawl or something. Ah yes, the classic theme, Elephant versus Crocodile. Not quite sure what you mean there, but okay. Amit Eternal, 3 mana 5/5 with Afflict 3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you put a -1/-1 counter on Amit Eternal. When it deals combat damage to a player, remove all -1/-1 counters from it. This card is going to see some play. Hamza, Guardian of Ereshin, is a 6 mana 5/5. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it, and creatures you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. I'm going to try to build this in Brawl. This seems absolutely absurd. This was obviously printed in the Commander decks recently. I haven't picked those up in paper in a long time, so I didn't even know this card existed up until now, and this card seems bananas. I'm definitely going to play around with this. Plus, these 3 classic cards that neatly fit into obvious category. Miscellaneous. Collecting Conjuring, 4 mana sorcery. Exile the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast up to 2 sorcery spells with mana value 3 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Put the exile cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. So it's Collect a Company, but for instants and sorceries, and they gave it a sorcery tag on it because Wizards realized that Collect a Company is absolutely busted. I still think they should have made it an instant because these are the colors where that made more sense. But regardless, this card is still very good. Harmless Offering, 3 mana sorcery. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. So you can just give them stuff. Preferably things you don't want, obviously, but I'm sure that somebody's going to break this card. Just look at it. It's got a cat on it. It's going to be broken. Solitails Demolisher is a 6 mana 6/6 with Trample and Mutate 4. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target non-creature permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. I like this card a lot. I still think in the Mutate deck, you're probably better off running Pouncing Shore Shark or something as like your removal. But this card is just stupid good. Like it's on par with Gemrazor as far as casting cost. It'd be 4 instead of Gemrazor mutating for 3. It has Trample. It's a 6/6, and it just blows stuff up. So this is definitely going to see a lot of play in the Mutate deck. Historic Anthology releases for MTG Arena on March 11th. If you want to see these cards in action, be sure to tune in into the Kaldheim Championship, broadcasting live March 26th through the 28th, as the best Magic players in the world compete with the updated historic format. We hope you enjoy. Wait, what's that? We've only previewed 24 cards? Don't worry, we didn't want to cast a shadow over the others, so we saved the best for last. They sure did. They sure did. Death Shadow is officially on Arena. I was considering Scourge of the Skyclaves to be the closest thing to Death Shadow on Arena. Now you can just play both of them, and it's gonna be disgusting. Thoughtseize is on Arena. Shocklands are on Arena. The DFCs are on Arena. You can just pay 3 life to have your lands come into play untapped, so you can get your life total ridiculously low very quickly to meet this card's conditions. But this paired with Scourge of the Skyclaves, all in the same deck, doing all the same things that Death Shadow does in all the other formats. For those of you who are not familiar, this card is absolutely ridiculous. So for 1 mana, you get a 13/13, and then you read the text, and you're like, oh, this card's garbage. It gets -X/-X, where their X is their life total. Or your life total. That's stupid. No, it's absolutely busted. So in Modern, turn 1, fetch land, pay a life, grab a shock land, pay the 2, that's 3. Thoughtseize your opponent, that's 5 life on turn 1. So you're down to 15 already. You can get your life total very, very close to like 10 by turn 2. Plus your opponent's attacking you. They want to get your life total down. So this card just, it becomes at least like a 5/5 or a 6/6, you know, very, very easily. And then everything else after that is just bread and butter. Very excited for this. Well, that finishes up the spoilers, and to be honest, it's not as like explosive in your face as the previous anthologies, which I like because there are some really strong cards here, obviously, that are gonna see play, like Thraben Inspector, Think Twice, the Cancrix, Sword of Body and Mind, Flameblade Adept, Cold Steel Heart, and Death Shadow are all 100% seeing day 1 play. 100%. And the rest of them are very good for different strategies. People are going to experiment with them. They're going to try to figure it out and break them. And I'm excited to see how this shakes up the format a little bit. Still a little upset though. I don't think it's worth the $25, give or take, because 4,000 gems is about $25. Power level isn't quite there versus the last couple anthologies. Like, I like that it's somewhat balanced, but at the same time, it's not as enticing as the other ones were for that price tag. The rest of these cards, they all have a home somewhere, and they will find their niche in C play. But again, for that price tag, I think they should start lowering these again, because the very first one, I believe, was like 3,200 gems or 34. And I mean, 4,000 gems for this particular pile of cards, I don't think is worth it 100%. But if you have the extra gold lying around, you should definitely invest. And if you have the extra gems, you should invest, because gives you a playset of all of the cards. It's going to save you a ton of wild cards. So I guess it is worth it in that regard. It saves you a lot of wild cards instead of having to craft these. You can craft these cards individually. So like if you only want the Thraben Inspectors, cool, it's a common. You can just spend the 4 common, you know, so on and so forth. So please leave a like on today's video if you enjoyed it. And if you're new to this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe and the bell. It would mean a ton and would show your support and help the channel grow. And with that being said, I know I'm going to build around these cards day 1. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys want to build around day 1 and what you guys are most excited for out of this announcement. And that's it for today's video. I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.